everyone. Happy Friday. It's been like, an hour, maybe hour and a half since I saw all of you. And what a fun interview to start the day with Dr. Devin. If you didn't catch it, go up above or down below or something like that. I love this interview because Melissa is one of my closest friends. And like typical women, she is sitting in the Delta Lounge catching a flight in the gate next to her, and her flight, she's asked to be on it in 10 minutes. So we women are amazing and cramming in important things in our lives. So Dr. Melissa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And a huge shout out to Dr. Melissa. She is now the proud owner of the building where she is going to be practicing, which I love seeing boot campers become real estate owners. So congratulations. I'm super proud of you.
Thanks. I'm excited about it.
And if you don't know Dr. Melissa, she's not only this beautiful force, but she also knows how to use her hands, not only to change spines and nerve systems, but also the structure of her building. So I distinctly remember on the very first call we ever had together, you were telling me that you liked to restore houses and stuff. And I'm thinking, who is this lady?
Well, lately I've been an electrician, and I was like, well, if you understand the nervous system, you understand electricity.
You know what? I'm so glad you brought that because that is the story that finally helped Ben see chiropractic. Is that Dr. Ryan Duhusky told him, it's like a wiring harness in a car. And it just like went like click for Ben, like, oh, now I totally get it. So I love that we can take practical stories and they immediately relate to chiropractic. All right. So I've got some cool questions and I'm going to ask you this. What is the hardest lesson you have learned that has also made the greatest impact? All of you can tell. No, just the hardest one. As all of you can tell, like I didn't let any of my interviewees know the questions I was going to ask them today. So you're getting to see all these amazing women think on their feet. And what I want you to also be, as you're sharing, Melissa, is teach us like, how do you go through that process of thinking about those things and then putting it together? Because I think one of the things that's so crucial in our life is the our mental capacity, right? Our ability to take situations and to take ideas and formulate them together for proper communication. And that's what happens when we're subluxated, right? Is we're unable to put things together, and the chiropractic adjustment restores that unity and restores that alignment for proper functioning. All right. So the hardest lesson you have learned that has also made the greatest impact.
Well, now that I've had a moment to think about it, I'm going to say that filtering is the hardest lesson I've had to learn. That's also had the greatest impact. Somebody once told me that my mouth is my greatest asset and my greatest weakness. I tend to shoot from the hip and tell people what I think. And the reality is that a lot of people don't care what I think, nor do they want to hear about it, even if they need to hear it. You know what I mean? So I think that learning how to filter and actually using the Socratic method, as my husband would say, to ask questions instead of just giving my opinion or my observation, just ask, how can I change this into a question so I'm not an asshole?
That's funny.
Sometimes I'll be talking to somebody and just as a total joke, I'll be like, they'll say something, I'll be like, and filter. And how does that make you feel?
Right. And you know what? It's so true that, I think sometimes we, all I can think of is it's like well, bless her heart. Like we'll rip some woman and then it's, oh, well, bless her heart, as if that like just gets rid of all of the terrible things that were just said. And I think it's really important to understand too, that just because you have good advice doesn't mean that person wants to hear it in that moment. Like how many times has somebody said something to you and you're like, okay, that's really great advice, but that's not what I want to hear right now.
Nobody wants unsolicited advice. Nobody wants unsolicited advice. I've learned that more than once. So.
And, I think it begs the question of why do we feel that we need to give our opinion?
Because we're trying to make it about us instead of the other person.
Seek to understand first. I did a webinar yesterday with my coach and friend Rich Christensen, and we were both talking about like what leaders do is they seek to understand first. They seek to find out who is this person and what are they looking for and what do they want, and if we make it about the other person, then really and truly we don't have to even say that much, and it's going to be received because we've already had that relationship. It's no different, I think, than the chiropractic adjustment. And what I mean by that is when somebody's laying down and you're going to check them, before you deliver the adjustment, you start interacting with their innate intelligence, right? It's my innate and their innate communicating with one another, which is why it is so important that we're present time conscious. Is I'm first going to ask that body, like, tell me what's going on. Like, observe and watch the dance happen. And as that person breathes and just leans into the table, what's happening? It's the same thing in conversation. So when you think about filter, what about this? What about the idea that comes up of, well, my opinion's important too, so why should I have to filter?
Well, I think that you could do it. You just have to, again, be Socratic about it. Like if somebody says something and you have an opinion, you have to say, can I give you some advice? Would you like my opinion on that? Like, you don't want to just start batting off at people, because then people become offended and they start putting up defenses and they start stepping back. I mean, I've done it enough to know. And it's actually the greatest lesson. I mean, honestly, it truly is one of the best things I've learned in my life. And I continue to work on it. Like, even the other day, I just thought about writing a book called How Not to Be an Asshole from an Asshole.
That's awesome. And you know what? Like, it's funny, but we all really need to learn how to do that better. And I think like such a powerful skill is how to disagree with respect.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
being respectful in the disagreement. So if you don't want to use the word asshole, you could do that, like being being
I
being
respectfully
respectful.
disagree with you. Can we still be friends?
Yeah, awesome. So one of the things that we're doing today is we're talking about as well our mantras. Like, what are things that you tell yourself, whether like good or bad? This COVID thing, and now the other, like the racial unrest. We're all getting triggered, right? And for those of you who haven't read Mel Robbins' book, Take Control of Your Life, what happens is there's a trigger. The trigger leads to a change in our physiology. Our physiology then that triggers, and we go back to even when we were children, of when we got triggered, and that physiology is stored in our nerve system, and then that gave a thought, an action, and a consequence. And so it's so important to know that for the most part, we can't change the trigger and the physiology, but we have 100% control over the thought, the action, and the consequence. And so I truly believe that when number one, we stop long enough to take inventory of what's happening, like, ooh, I feel that. I know what happened. I just got triggered. And now what do I want my thoughts to be? And so one of the reasons I'm asking all the amazing women that I'm interviewing today, what are your mantras? And Sarah Guido just wrote down, I can do this. I love it. Naylin, what are your mantras? Cindy, what are your mantras? What are your mantras that you tell yourself? And I truly believe as women, we can help each other rewrite the thoughts, the actions, and the consequences. So Melissa, what are some of the things that you tell yourself that have really served you well as a chiropractor, as a trainer, as a married woman, as a stepmom, as like all of those? Like, what are some of your mantras?
Um, Stay positive, keep the perspective, maintain gratitude, breathe.
How does
Ooh,
that serve you?
child. Well, I was gonna say that, but that's not really a mantra as much as it's a question, right? I mean, it just depends on the moment, I guess. I really have worked hard on trying to keep that perspective, do that present time consciousness, stay in the positive, stay in gratitude, because I certainly have found that pursuing that energy space has definitely served me more than a negative space ever has. So I think I just always try to think, what's the good in this? Where's the
Mm-hmm.
lesson? If you learn a lesson, you can't ever have had a bad experience, in my opinion. You don't fail if
Mm-hmm.
you learn a lesson, because a lesson learned is a great achievement, in my opinion. So I don't have failures, I have lessons.
Yes.
Um,
I love that. Yeah, I never lose. I either win or I learn. And I think about the times that I've really like verbally attacked somebody. And I gotta say, after it's not like I feel like $1,000,000 about myself versus those times when I've held back my words and just been like, wow, like you exercise discipline and didn't engage in a way that was destructive. And I my intention when I meet individuals is to number one, always leave an impression, hopefully, obviously, a positive impression that anyone who talks to you or anyone who engages with you, that they feel better about themselves after the experience. Now, please don't read me wrong, those who are listening to this, of that means you just lie to people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But no matter who that person is, there is goodness in them if you're using the lens to look for that. Nayland says, in Spanish, great phrase I grew up with, no hay mal pork.
porque bien no venga. Basically, no, no hay mal porque bien no venga.
Can you tell I'm fluent in Spanish?
You Alaskan.
And Cindy says, you get to choose in every situation. Amen.
That's very true.
Lonnie says, it's a coming. I can feel it. Good things continue to flow in my life. I love that. Very, very cool. Actually, I sent Lonnie a picture from last year when we were all together and she was double fisting whiskey. So reminding
How did
her
that
of,
choice serve you?
I think you were sharing though, Lonnie, as I remember. Actually, Melissa was there. It was at the boot camp mansion when we were all hanging out there. So as we end this, I want to encourage all of you who maybe you're just kind of struggling getting going after COVID, or maybe your state is just opening up, or your country, and maybe you have motivation for tomorrow, and then you find like, oh, now I'm just like losing my motivation again. So I came to the rescue because I love helping chiropractors and my colleagues. And I created a 30-day action plan. I don't give you all 30 days at one time. You get one tip, one action step every single day. So you don't even have to think about it. You just have to open your email and take that action step. None of them are more than 7 minutes. So you could cut like bathroom time by 7 minutes and be able
Shower.
to, yeah, I'm happy to give those up on a regular.
That means
No,
we
just
wouldn't shower for 30 days.
right. And so the link is below. I invite you, like, there's no strings attached, there's no fee to it. Grab it and just know that I'm there to help you, like, get that, and it's not about motion. I'm really wanting everyone to be in momentum because we have a world that needs us now more than ever. And so I'd like to provide, I think of it like when we went riding a few weekends ago, there was still some snow up at Hatcher's Pass, and quads and snow don't get along. And one of our buddies had these like plastic ramps, and Ben was stuck. And so we put the plastic ramps down, and he got just enough momentum to hit those ramps and was able to launch forward and not be stuck. And so think of this as those ramps. Like, it's just enough to get you moving forward and to get back on your own. Cindy said, I'm doing it 30 days. Let's go. Right on, girlfriend. Naylin says, practice kindness. Always leave the space better than you left it. I agree. So Naylin, you can just click on the link there. My team will also be putting it in the comment section. So Melissa, as we end this and you jump on an airplane, what final words about National Women Chiropractors Day do you want to share with our audience?
Believe in yourself and believe that the power that made the body heals the body. And chiropractic truly is the answer. And people are looking for us, and they're looking for us every single day. They know that drugs are not the answer. They know that surgery doesn't solve any problems, and often it makes more. And the more you can get on somebody else's level of their conversation, just like you were talking about with Ben, how it clicked when you talked about the harness of a car or something like that, I believe. Getting on other people's level, getting on their conversation, asking questions is how you're going to open the door to help them find the path that you already know is the one that's going to give them what they want.
Absolutely. They're looking. They're looking. And the only reason they're choosing drugs is they haven't
They
heard the
don't
story.
know.
They
They don't
don't
know
know.
any other way. They don't know that there's a better way.
Yeah. A Better Way. Wow, I hear that's an awesome documentary. Good job, Dr. Tabor, and thanks for taking on that labor of love. Girlfriend, have a great time on your trip. I love you. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you soon. Thank you all for joining us. Stay right on this page. I'm coming at you live all day long, and grab the link. See ya. Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
Barb. Bye-bye.